Top Shelf VHS. The collection is on the move. And this new stuff I do not like touching because every time you touch it, you could cause more damage and wear. So let's take a look at what I got. This is coming out for a reason. I'm trying to get the collection all in one place, so it has to move. One place and to a permanent home where everything's at my fingertips. You've heard that story before? Look what I'm trying to build off. This. Are you kidding? These are all brand new VHS. Let's start there. Let's do one at a time here. The Car That Ate Paris. Are you kidding me? I probably picked this up and said, okay, cool title. Peter Weir, from the director of Green Card and Dead Poets. The original uncut version. The watermarks are super rare. That's the logo for Turner Home Entertainment, and that's the watermark, and that's rare. So this is great stuff right here. Trumps. Now it's based in New York, but it has nothing to do with the Trump family. Kevin Bacon, Ellen Barkin. There's very few copies of this online, and they're all open. I have a brand new one. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not. I love doing this, so how can I go wrong? Erica. She's in one of my favorite Steven Seagal movies, Under Siege. So I pop that in, on a Sunday afternoon when nothing else is going on and let that roll. That's always a good time. This is, look, it's super clean. This doesn't have watermarks, but it's very clean. And I know all her movies. I don't even know this one. So it's rare on top of that as far as rare goes. Now, this is animation, but it's not for kids. It was ahead of its time in the adult theme animation. This is 1973. And there's some interesting facts. You can capture that and read that. Now, I could sit here and research and do like 1,000 facts. And it's like, I got to do the collection. And I shoot only at will. That's why I probably never get monetized. I'm only doing this to share this with you. The Avant-Garde label is really cool one. They got really really avant-garde titles. And they look good on the shelf with that banner. So I have DVD and VHS. Now, when I started doing this, I came across this movie called The Fighting Sullivans. And it's a little older. I was popping in to see if I'm even keeping this DVD. And the opening scene, I was like, oh, it's so dated. Low production values, very grainy. But it started going in the right direction story-wise. And I started watching it. And before it was over, I was floored. If you know the story, you know I was floored. And then I thought, is an old black and white, low production values supposed to move me like this? And then I realized I wasn't the only one. Someone by the name of Steven Spielberg also saw this movie and said, I'm going to do a remake, or, according to this, the basis for Saving Private Ryan is The Fighting Sullivans. So I realized, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to keep doing this. I didn't even know this existed until I found it in some box at some junk store, pulled it out, watched it, and now I'm cinematically intelligent. And then I find this. Now I'm physical media rich. That's what I love to do. So let's keep going. Right now, I'm watching Family Jewels for free with my antenna on the roof. All my locations have great views, which reach the antennas, the broadcast antennas. So it's easy for me to watch Family Jewels. So Gene Simmons, look what I have. Lance Erickson, your wife, actually, I could say your lady in this point. Your lady. Wait, did they get married? I think in one episode they were going to get married. I don't know. So anyway, let's go back to what I'm talking about. Super clean, shrink wrapped. Good title. Good graphics. That's good stuff. Here's one a little more common, A Long Hot Summer. It has the caricatures, which they did kind of in that era. I have like a couple hundred of these just with the caricatures. And they all are from the same era, too. It's kind of keeping the... Now, I can get into perforated proof of purchase and all that, but that was in the last show. I was talking about that a lot. Look, the banner card, or the lobby card. Watermark, super bright. And I also find a lot of music, and that's what I want to do. I keep saying I want to do music, not musicals, music. When I was doing this, I was like, there's a lot of good music. And I go to a lot of concerts and love music, and I'm like, okay, this is good stuff. So this is Tom Petty, super clean, shrink wrapped, and it may not have watermark. Oh, it does. But if it doesn't, and you see a sticker like this, that's probably true. This is February 1995 for $20. There's petty right there. That's good stuff too. And then, now this may be the worst movie in the world. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it. But I like the purple graphics, the fake tear. And now this is a Republic. It's a little bit older. So they're like, all right, we can make the box really cool. You know, the pop art. That's good stuff. And I'm like, and it's shrink wrapped and super clean. I was like, okay, that belongs in that pile. And Star Wars has been overproduced big time. So I'm rummaging through a box. Let's say, I'm at a estate sale. It could be 200, and I have to say yes or no fast. I usually make my deal before. I said, what if I buy a box? What if I buy them all? What if they say, oh, $1 each, $2 each, $3 each. I'm like, no, I don't pay that much. So what if I buy a box? Okay, well, fill a box and we'll take $10 off, whatever, whatever they do. So I know, okay, I need to fill this box, or I need to find only 10, or these are all mine. I just bought them all. But I need to decide fast, like yes or no. And I'm like, no. I remember clearly on this one. These other ones, I do not remember nothing where I got these. Because I've been doing it since 2010. 16 years. But I remember this one clearly. Star Wars now overproduced. And I started like, oh wait, watermarks. Oh man. I got a low battery notice. See, when you're watching DVD and VHS, there's no notice. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I do what I do. Now I gotta put it on the clip again. Oh, sorry for the interruption. I didn't know what it was. I said, wait, I'm on airplane mode. Now it's giving me low battery. Oh, thank you very much. You interrupted my show. Now you know why I do this. Anyway, I said, no, this is great. That's a great sticker. And it says 1993, so it dates it. And good watermarks. So then I said, oh, all right, that's great. And I picked this one up. I go, is that Gerard Depardieu? And I go, oh my gosh, I met him in Green Card, an American movie. This is a French movie with English subtitles. So I watch them all, and I'm like, this is great. Look at the box. It's everything shrink wrapped, and this is a full wraparound. The Players, Maximilian Schell. I met him once. Yeah. He's from the old school. He's in a lot of good stuff from back in the day. Guttenberg. Yeah, this is Ali McGraw. So this is a full wrap. Usually there's a hole here, so the cassette comes out. Not this one. It's a full envelope wrap, and it has a book opening. You can go like this, and there's more graphics. The blue is inside there. You could see it. So the envelope wraps are rare. Shrink wrapped is even harder to find. And then a good title like this, I didn't even know I had this title. What is this? So the thumbnails are huge, and the watermarks are from the old school. It says home video. When Paramount did watermarks later, they just put Paramount or something else. So, I'm like running through this, and I'm like, I should do this. I had to pull these off the shelf for a reason. And I said, before I put them in a box, I need to show my people, like, this is some good stuff. I mean, there's some rare stuff here. The Cars at 8, heavy metal, shrink wrap. And it's not only that it's hard to find, it's hard to find shrink wrap. So I was going through, and I said, I'll show them the car. Look, how can they go wrong? I'll get monetized just with this one video alone, just one image alone. Look, and then this, and ahead of their time, Spielberg, The Fighting Sullivan, and this one, Lolita. Shelley Winters from the Poseidon Adventure, and going on, and I'm just kind of mumbling. We're having breakfast. I'm kind of saying how I'm going to do the show. I go, yeah, I should do this. There's enough here for me to show. And then I said, and the Lolita, and I started looking at the interesting facts, and I said, this movie, Lolita, is based on a book by Nabokov. And I was like, 2 hours and 1961. That's what I was looking for. Black and white 1961. Now, this was very controversial. So the book, then the movie, and then a remake, and they keep softening it from the book to this movie and the next remake. They soften it because it's a really controversial. So as I'm saying, and I'll show them Lolita. Look, it's based on a book by Nabokov. And we're having breakfast, and my lady snaps up and she says, what? She said, that's Sting. I said, what are you talking about? No, it's a book, a novel, and they made a movie. And she goes, no, that's Sting. In the lyrics, Don't Stand So Close to Me, by the Police, it says, just like the old man in the famous book by Nabokov. And I was like, oh, she's right. And then she kept saying, we don't sing at all. We kind of sing under our breaths for a reason. So she's kind of saying, don't stand so close to me. I'm like, oh, don't stand so close to me. His car is warm and dry. I'm like, oh, the opening lyrics are schoolgirl fantasies. Like, oh my gosh, I never knew that song was based on the book by Nabokov. And she didn't know Lolita was also based on the book by Nabokov. So we're sitting there both going, we learned something new. We're having breakfast, and then we're singing, don't stand so close to me. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to show the people. Now let me tell you the reason why this came out of the vault, top shelf vault, is because I needed to protect these DVDs that are super killer. And I said, I need a filler in the box. And I looked at this, and I said, that's about the right amount to fill the box. These were just fillers. And I said, what is wrong with me? These are fillers? This is a few $100s here, if not more. And I said, wait a minute. People need to show, I need to show people my life. My life is that these are fillers. And that's scary because these are worth a lot of money. And that's how big my collection is. I'm not even sure what I have, how valuable. And I'm not counting. I'm not selling. I trade out on the low end. I donate and I trash the low end. And I keep purging and sorting for me to keep the best. So it went from filler to showing you to me and my lady having a good time after breakfast singing Don't Stand So Close to Me. Sagala out. Have a wonderful day.